Greetings, Warlords. Rodge here. Welcome to Saga Thursday, the show all about the skirmish miniatures game from Studio Tomahawk. We are joined by Monty once again on a monthly episode. Monty, how's it going, buddy?
It's going great, Rodge. How about yourself?
Good. So, recording this. Finally, hopefully, all that cold weather is behind us in the northern hemisphere here, and we had a topic planned. But just this morning, we pulled an audible. The Ancients has come out with a couple new facts. So Age of Hannibal and Age of Alexander. So that was quite a surprise. Sometimes we do get a heads up on those, but not this time. So we're going to be digging in here. We haven't had a super deep look at it, so we'll just fumble around on air, Monty. We've done that before, right?
Hot takes.
Hot takes, baby. But before we get to that, there's a few items we've got to clear up here. So a couple things for Saga news. So there is still time to sign up for All Fathers, June 21st. This is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, run by my good buddy Zach. And it's looking like a pretty decent turnout here. The last couple been kind of small, but we got 12 folks signed up here from Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin. So little tri-state battle, all ages, AD, Anno Domini, whatever that stands for. And so that should be pretty cool. Looking forward to that. And if you can't get over to that side of the Midwest, the east side of the Midwest is also having a little Saga party that day at Origins. There's doubles on that Friday, the 20th. And then on the 21st, we have the Medieval, Age of Crusades, and Age of Chivalry. So that'll be the first tournament in the U.S., I think, that maybe has Crusades and Chivalry all mixed up together. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Monty, if you were playing in an Age of Crusades and Age of Chivalry event in June, what would you take?
Ooh,
just based off what you got, or
right?
What would you do?
Would it surprise you at all if I told you I would bring Matatuia? Why not? They're ready to party for any age, any place. So yeah, I would definitely take them out.
Awesome. Well, Monty, I'm going to be bringing Matatuia to All Fathers Day. So
good choice.
These are the Reconquer Designs that I painted up a couple of years ago now. It was two paint challenges ago, and I did actually get a game in with them. It took over a year, but so this will be the kind of the first event playing them as is, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Should be a pretty chill event. Wish I had some archers, I think, but what do you think about archers and the new mutts?
Yeah, so I know this will be shocking to you, but I almost never take shooting. I painted them. I have 12 warrior archers painted up, but I almost leave them at home. Now, having said that, there is a place to have a little pocket of archers where if there's a warlord that's exhausted, rather than sending a whole unit over, if you could just kind of blink, then that's obviously the archers are perfect for that role. So,
yeah, I think and the new board with the resurrection works a little easier. And then sometimes you have the wall of bodies. You have that 1/2 dice ability up. The enemy doesn't necessarily want to engage you, but if you throw those archers out there, you just come on, go beat up the archers at least. I'll give you the archers. Let's have a fight. I think from that perspective, could have a little use, but I'm definitely not gonna be painting up any before then. So I'll just be taking basically all warriors on foot and a Hearthguards on foot, 1 unit, and a unit of camel. So that is what I will be taking to the event. Now, speaking of the Warband Challenge, and that has started for the Saga Thursday patrons in 2025 here. So I can't remember. I don't think I really announced it on the actual Saga Thursday. I did do it on the Discord and on that Patreon page, but this challenge, Monty, is the summer only. It's called Unfinished Business.
Ooh.
So it is either finishing off something that you started but never, whatever reason, you never quite finished, or it is taking a finished warband and expanding it into a new faction, like turning Vikings into Yam's Vikings, for example, by adding, heavy weapon warriors or something like that. So it's a lot looser, kind of in scope. The idea is roughly a point a month for 3 months. So it'll run June, July, and August. And, just kind of quick, maybe a little extra motivation. I know, Monty, how's your summer painting treating you? Are you a big summer painter?
The thing that slows me down in the summertime just a little bit is this room becomes an oven. It's the last place in
Yeah.
the house to get AC. And I was painting yesterday and it was rather warm and like everything. I'm using a wet palette, but the paint's still like drying super fast. And I just, at some point, I'm like, I just become exasperated. And so I have to step away. So if I
That's
time it right,
true.
I could still do it. But yeah, so, and summertime, right? Everyone wants to be out. They got family and friends and things to do. So yeah, that challenge sounds really, really intriguing.
Yeah, if you just need a little something, if you want to paint and need a little extra motivation this summer, the Unfinished Business Challenge is open to all patrons, and we got a little extra love there. Former friend of the show, Andrew at Medbury Miniatures, gave me a slew of metal, his Vendel era Germanic Vikings, essentially,
Wow.
a ton of medals for that. So
Okay.
one random person who participates, I'll mail off the bulk of those to that person. It's definitely 4 points. It might be a 6 point warband. I have to look exactly what is there, but it's quite a substantial force. So thanks to Andrew at Medbury for supporting our warband challenge this year, and other friends of the show. Monty, current friend of the show. We got Eduardo at Black Knight Miniatures. So he actually took a couple months off. I don't know the backstory there. Hopefully it was a good amount of time off, a good time off, not a bad time off, but he's back and he is doing some 13th century Teutonic Knights, Monty, on foot. So this is kind of supplementing his prior Teutonic Knight collections, and he's going to be giving these away to the lifeguard and warlord members of the Patreon. So unit of these bad boys. So that's really cool. These are he's got quite a few variations in the unit. They're like a multi-part. So I could print off all the little figures here, and I could mail them to you. You could assemble them, like they're figures off the sprue. So basically
Wow.
unlimited variety. They're
Oh,
pretty
that's
sweet.
cool.
Yeah, so I think that's how he does it on all of them. And yeah, so this is just kind of supplementing. He's kind of focused on Eastern Europe in the medieval to chivalry type eras. And yeah, so glad to see he's back at it. And yeah, wish him luck. And thanks, Eduardo, for supporting the show. We do have the Rodge Originals Monty. So I've got the Viking shields, they will be up shortly on my mini factory if anybody wants to get those. So the Hearthguards last month got those Viking shields, and I think they turned out pretty good. Monty, what do you think of those?
They're beautiful. This is just really awesome. I got the picture up right here. You add, first of all, your work in rendering these shields, and then secondly, your beautiful painting and highlights. They really sing. Nicely done.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, these are definitely the most detailed ones yet, and I think I did kind of hit the wall. There's a kind of a balancing act, definitely kind of with STL prints and stuff. And so I think the norm is definitely, like, in my opinion, everything is way too detailed on most of the files that are being sold these days. Now, most of it is fantasy stuff that I'm looking at. So I don't think the historicals are quite as bad in that regard. But so I definitely, on the first pass, kind of sculpted fine detail that was like impossible to paint. You could dry brush it and it kind of worked, but I was like, all right, I think I need to make a couple modifications here because they're overly detailed. So I would say that these shields are definitely cool, but probably more advanced, more Hearthguard or your Warlord type stuff. I would say kind of the Dark Age ones I already did, in my opinion, are probably better for Vikings. Some of this stuff is definitely inspired by media and more recent historical interpretations than actually ancient or Dark Age history. So, but they're a lot of fun. It was fun painting them, and Marty, there's not a zero chance I go back and redo every shield that I did on the Heathens with these. I'll just say that it's not a high number, but it's dangerous. It's not zero because I already did about 15. So I'm like, well, you know,
lessons learned.
Just another 50 or 60. You know, just bang them out. So I haven't ruled it out. You know, it's always there if I'm feeling feisty. But for this month of June here, I'm working on. Now, Monty, did you figure out the theme of these shields? Looking at them,
the ones you've sent draft,
just kind of the grayscale or the renders or whatever.
Yes. So I think we're into the late Roman, Goth, Byzantine. I might be too far forward there, but boy, I do recognize some of these. Yes.
Yeah, so we're kind of into the Roman. These are basically kind of like Roman Christian Dark Age shields. So,
okay,
you know, basically, you know, I found a page that had a bunch of different Roman shield designs and stuff. So, you know, and a lot of these I've seen. A little big man has used these for his Goths or his Britons or you know, Carolingians, Saxons, whatever. So there's quite a few factions that I think will be able to use these, and yeah, definitely doing just kind of different kind of detail on these, doing some actual sculpting. You know, a lot of them have little heads on them. I'm assuming it's Big J, Jesus on the shield there, but and some different animals and stuff. But this is one that people have been asking for since I've started. I don't know why they want these, but people have been looking for these Roman shields for their purposes here. So
nice.
Yeah, still working on them. They should be available if you're a Hearthguard this month. You will be getting them, and they'll be on my factory later. But it's been a lot of fun continuing to plug away on those. And something else I was going to say, but I don't remember what it was. But Bonnie, whenever you have a hankering for some shields here, I'll mail whatever you want, buddy.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you, Rodge.
I mean, it'll cost you extra, you know, just for no reason, but
that's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, whenever you got a hankering for these. Now, are you doing any Saga painting? You look like you have quite a few warbands you posted. You have too many.
I do.
Clear some out.
I do. I've got my kind of many-purpose Age of Chivalry warband. I kind of broke on the storm of I was going to do Castilians, but I can repurpose those guys even if the Castilians have some issues, i.e., playing into any army that has pike. So I've kind of stalled out a little bit, but it's sitting right behind me, and I was just thinking about how I could repurpose some of this stuff, and that's going to get fired up here shortly. I also had an idea that I'll hit you off air for what I think is a fairly simple shield design. It's kind of a big ask from friend to friend, but I have a theme for my generic Age of Chivalry, and the shield, like repeated throughout the whole warband, kind of pulls the theme together. I've got some color pieces that work with the theme. If I would weave this all together, I think it would give me the wind under my wings. I need to just like fire this up and get it done.
Oh yeah, definitely ping me. Depending what it is. Sometimes they're pretty easy. Sometimes you spend 4 hours sculpting a two-dimensional dog. And,
he's adorable.
You delete it at the end.
Oh,
okay. So, all right. Let's move on. I believe we're just going to jump to our main topic here. All right, Ronnie.
Yeah.
So, like we said, this was a surprise. So, I didn't think did you think there'd be another Hannibal fact?
I
Monty?
did not. That
Yeah.
catches me by surprise. And I mean, like, also, if you said, Monty, there's an FAQ coming out, guess which one? I would guess, like, Age of Viking, Age of Invasion. So this was a
Uh-huh.
very big surprise to me, but
Yeah.
exciting too.
Yeah. So I think it goes to show. So the ancient books are worked on by a different fellow than like the main studio Tomahawk. So I believe
Okay.
it's Philip or Felipe.
Okay.
You know, so he might have spearheaded this and somebody else is spearheading, you know, other facts and stuff like that. So I agree with you. I wasn't expecting this at
No.
all. I already, if I would have known, I already just a couple months ago, I taped the new, you know, the previous fact to it. And I said, you know, this is it. I'll get to it, but I'm gonna have to do it again. And
Yep.
I'm super annoyed because I know I changed some of the color settings. So their FAQ, like the little, you know, canvas color or whatever, doesn't match the actual board for whatever reason. So I tinkered with it to try to get it closer to match. And so I just know that I won't, I'll print out another one and it's not going to match the color. And you know, most people don't care, but that really gets my goat, Monty.
Right.
Non-matching FAQ colors, but that's fine. This should look kind of more patchwork, cool at this time. But all right, so let's do Hannibal first.
Hannibal.
And
Got it.
I think it's simpler there. So I guess you know, I was expecting something for Alexander.
Yes.
At some point here, but I thought we were kind of done with Hannibal. Now, Monty, first thing up here, and so these are going to be on the Studio Tomahawk website, and I want to post this to the Discord too, the files section. So we know they've been having issues with the site or whatever, so we will have that on the Discord there, available for everybody. So I'm gonna throw you under the bus here, Monty.
Oh no.
With the chariots for the Gauls. So you can, I think most of it is very similar or identical.
Agreed.
But I think there is a key change there that maybe you can elaborate on. I don't know, did you look at it?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, it does look, that's the challenge. It looks the same, but I know I must be missing something, so I need to go get the Hannibal book.
You say uncle? Do you say uncle, Monty?
I say uncle. I'm not spotting it at a
As
glance.
far as I can tell, the difference is they no longer have javelin.
I see it. Yes, the javelin is gone. Interesting.
So no longer a +1 to hit on the charge, no longer a shooting, and so they just don't shoot at all. And they kind of like split it off. They're not hearth guards in chariots, they're a chariot unit as well, just for like nomenclature. And I believe they updated the battle board to show that chariots are activated using the same spot as the hearth guards and the hero. So kind of cool, you know, maybe you know, there's a push across all the books or something to clean that kind of stuff up.
That makes sense. Consistency, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I actually, like, just hot take, I don't really mind it because I do like a chariot that has armor 5/4 versus a chariot that has armor 4/5.
Okay. Is that what it was before?
Yes, they took the armor down for melee because you had a javelin.
Okay,
but then
you'd have the +1. Yeah.
Right, you do get the +1, but honestly, that Gallic board has other ways to juice that attack. So I like survivability. Yeah, I mean that's fine. That's fine. Losing their blinky, was it like resilience 1, so one shot
they
or
shot,
2?
They shot pretty good.
Two, yeah, they did.
They were pretty tasty,
now.
honestly. Yeah, so they kind of flopped them a little bit from a shooting to a melee. So in the scheme of the Gauls, you might see how that makes sense there. And armor 5 and melee, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, if you already had the Warband, it's going to be a completely different play style, so you may or may not care. People don't like doing new things, as we know. So, you know, a lot of people put effort into these models. Hopefully, they'll still be able to get some use out of them. But
Yeah.
I think probably what they're going for too is all the carriages and stuff, the wagons, the chariots are making them weak against shooting, where the Gallic chariots were like strong against shooting for whatever reason. So flipping the script there. So interesting.
Yeah.
Let's go down to the Gauls battle board. Yeah, so it's been updated to have the Hearthguards activation, and there's 3 other ones. Have they been changed or not, Monty?
I'm looking fast.
So the first one is
3 or more. Ritual challenge has been tweaked a little bit.
Yeah, you can't use a fervor anymore.
Changed. Yeah. Oh wow.
You can't use a fervor anymore.
Gallicus has been changed. Spicier. I mean, sorry, it's more expensive. Sorry. So where do you want to start?
Yeah, so Ritual Challenge used to work on a 4 or more, and then a 3. So now it works on a 3 and then a 2. So it's almost certainly going to cause a casualty.
Yep.
But it doesn't soup up the unit like it used to.
Yeah.
Tumultus Gallicus that one was not fact before.
No. It went from a common to an uncommon or rare.
So you can remove a fervor marker from up to 3 of your units. Before, you remove all markers from 1 unit or 1 fervor from all your units. So the flexibility has been reduced, essentially. So lost some flexibility with that one. Looks like there's maybe a snafu here or not. So before the wave was fact previously, but you can see they kind of pasted Power of the Ancient Gods over it, which
yes, did.
That one does look the same. So we'll have to confirm if before the wave maybe reverted back to what it was. No, just with the javelins and stuff. Maybe.
I think I spotted it. I'm so sorry. Yep. Since we're doing real time, Power of the Ancient Gods wasn't in common and a rare, and now it is same.
Oh, it's just
looks the same, but it's just a rare.
Okay,
yeah, so it got a little cheaper. That's not bad.
Easier to do. Yeah,
cheaper is good.
Power of the Ancient Gods, money.
Yeah. Right, I mean, the Gauls are always fun, and I mean, my really fast read is, just a couple tweaks here, but if you enjoyed the Gauls before, I think you'll still like them. You're going to lose your chariot shooting, but I still look like they're the same fun, wild warband they've always been.
Yeah, I guess too. Well, we're going to have to look, because Ritual Challenge is common now versus uncommon.
Oh, that's nice. That got cheaper.
And Tumultus Gallicus is uncommon and rare versus a common. So, shunt away from flexibility and having the javelins, being able to shoot and charge, and being able to manage your fervor versus, we're losing some flexibility, but a couple of our attack abilities are getting a little easier to pop off and maybe a little more effective. And then I guess we'll have to get... My assumption is the prior fact before the wave would still apply, but I'll have to email Alex or something, get him to update that. All right.
Yeah.
So that's it for the Gauls. The other,
nice.
I think the other board is Numidians.
Yep.
Monty. Do you have Numidians? Did you ever paint Numidians?
I almost have them. I need to really paint 12 more mounted warriors. I've got the Victrix figures in my collection, so there we go. That'd be another thing for the summer challenge.
Okay. So Skirmish is the same. Hail of Missiles is slightly different. It used to activate a unit for shooting that doesn't generate a fatigue. You get a bonus attack dice to that, and then you could spend one of the enemy's Fatigue reduces armor by 1, so actually quite a tasty ability. Now you do not activate a unit as part of that, so you'd have to. I mean, it makes sense with javelins, how the change and stuff. So you're going to be activating to shoot for free anyway, so it's not really a loss. You get the attack dice, you get the bonus. For the rare, you get to reduce their fatigue. And then, hello, Monty here. After you do the shot, you get to activate them for a movement.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it.
It won't be fatigue free, so you have a fatigue at the end of it. But if you play whatever Born Horseman, hopefully you can be a good 21 or 22 inches away from the enemy unit you were shooting at.
Yep.
Incapacitating shot.
I think that's the same.
Yeah, that one's the same. It's got the same typo that I had from before.
So tier, I have scripture.
That's just shooting. Or melee. Melee, maybe. I
think
incapacitating shot. So I think it is shooting. So unfortunately, they could have done with a little eyeball or two on these to clear up some of the just editing type issues. Okay. Monty, the only other one. So Greculi stayed the same. Iberians are the same.
Yep.
The Carthage stayed the same. So we're just looking at the Romans here, and I think these are some pretty cool changes for these guys here. So they weren't really fact before. They kind of had a clarification on one of their abilities, but it didn't really change how it works. But first up, Quincux, everybody's favorite ability here.
I like this.
Before you could just move 2 units.
Yep.
Within S of each other. Now you can move or charge with a bonus of S. So that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's. And you can like charge through your friendly units here.
Surprise.
Yeah, I can already imagine I'm in a game against Monty, and he's doing some baloney with this, charging through left and right and doing whatever. And this wild. That's awesome. Taking a great ability, making it even better. The Tenacious, that one is the same. That's the one I kind of mentioned. It just got a clarification. The other one is Scuda.
Okay.
So orders/reaction. So it used to, you'd pop it on a shooting ability and you would cancel on a casualty suffered.
Wow.
And this one is every time a mana pool gets plinked at, it cancels a casualty. So
I love it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. So it kind of scales up to the opponent. So like against my Carthaginians, this probably doesn't really. If I'm using the elephant, it'll shut down those kind of elephant plinks. But I'm just using the chariot. So I kind of just been using one big unit. So, the old ability basically would work the same as this. It'll shoot one. But if your opponent is shooting the tar out of you, it's really going to make a big difference.
Huge. I like that a lot. I think it's thematic too. The idea of the Romans, the equivalent of the Roman shield wall. Yeah, and global protection for the turn. That is good.
Yeah. So, Scuda. There's the Stabili, Gredu, Exhortation are all kind of almost global. Exhortation has a range effect here, but you can see it's five of your Saga dice, but you could pop all 3 of those, and you're getting defense dice or attack dice or canceling hits and shooting or melee for like your entire warband. So you could really have a turn where the Romans just push forward. Everybody's within medium or L of the council or the warlord. They pop all 3 of those abilities on the opponent's turn, and just say, hey, come on, I'm going to charge you next turn. You can run away if you want, or we can fight, or you can wait. Next turn, I'm gonna pop you, and you don't know where I'm gonna go with Quincux. So I like this. So I think this was our recommendation for the the best beginner faction for Age of Hannibal. So
Mhm.
I like these changes. I think they make that faction a better beginner faction. So I think, there's a kind of a poor track record for Studio Tomahawk of having the most appealing factions. Vikings, Spartans, Knights Templar, aka Militus Christi, being more difficult to play or not particularly fun. I think they're closer to the mark on these guys after these fact changes. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it. Nice.
Anything we missed with Hannibal, Monty?
No, although one day, as a former Iberian player, it would be nice if the Iberians got just a tiny bit of love
Just a
again.
little Claude.
A little
Claude some of it
taste.
back.
Please, sir.
Please.
It's okay. It's all
right.
good.
Okay, well, let's move on to Alexander. So this one is a little juicier.
Yeah, a lot going on
honestly, as fuzzy as we were with Hannibal, I'm probably going to be even fuzzier on this stuff. Probably the least. I don't know, is this the least played into of the books for you, Monty? I would say for me it is. What do you?
So when it dropped, of course, it was wildly popular, and I'm trying to be real careful here. This is just one person's perspective. I think over repeated play, I think the challenge was that Age of Hannibal generally struggles when they face Age of Alexander, and the proof in the pudding I think we're going to see here is that some of the very uber-powered boards got a little bit of their wings clipped to bring them back in line. So I do think like the power of Age of Alexander by itself has had some people, some TOs, some players kind of wall them off from the rest of the Saga universe. So yeah, it'll be interesting to go through these things to see what got clipped.
Okay.
And see if anything got improved, because I'm sure there's an improvement or two in here too.
Possibly. So, all right. Yeah. So this one I haven't looked at as much here. Didn't think I get to it. So, take a look. Scythe chariots. So their rule was before they couldn't have a fatigue, or else I can't remember how it was worded, but basically, if they had a fatigue, they were useless, completely useless. So they had to be fresh. So now they can charge in, and the enemy gets a +1 on their defense dice for each fatigue on the Scythe chariots. So if it has 1 fatigue, they get a +1, 2 fatigues, +2, +3. So it's usable. If you get super fatigued, you'd have to think how desperate or whatever you want to get there. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully made them a little more usable.
If I can add one other small change is now after the FAQ, when a Scythe chariot hits you, you cannot close ranks.
Yeah, does that make sense? You don't want to hunker down when that thing's bearing down on you.
Right. So as a big fan of the Poison King and Scythe chariots used against the Romans and the Roman allies, I've always wanted to paint a Scythe chariot, and I think in the prior pre-FAQ version, it was always hard to use. I heard from people it's hard to use their Scythe chariot because people they'd see where your chariot is, and they go, "I'm going to set up over here at 12.1 inches." These changes, both of them, I think, makes the chariot more usable, which is just fun. I think that's a good choice.
Yeah, usually the way it worked out, if somebody was advocating for the Scythe chariot, they would have their little spiel about it, and then you would say, well, you do realize it's a mercenary and you can't use your advanced abilities on it. And then they're like, oh yeah, okay,
oh no, right?
You're right. Yeah, that makes a difference. So
right.
But now it'll still be useful one way or another. And
yeah,
honestly, with 1 fatigue, it's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
usable.
It's good. It's usable. Okay. The other chariots that changed.
Yeah.
Too many chariots, Monty. Can't decide here. So the aggression on the Indian light chariots has flip-flopped.
Yeah.
Between It used to be aggression 2 for shooting. So like a 4-man unit would be aggression 8, super volleys. And then aggression 1 in melee, it used to be. So it would only have 4 attacks. So they really like melt when they would, if the enemy finally got to them, which they had to. But now, they're going to be more harassment piece and not such a slough. I believe this puts them at like normal aggression.
Yep.
Because you would get two warriors to turn into a chariot. So that's 2 aggression. So they've really put this is just standard aggression essentially. You're still armor 3, but you have resilience 1. So probably going to be using these differently than before. You're not going to be just leashing unholy hell on the opponent.
Yes.
But they could put up more of a fight, I would say. So honestly, this kind of puts them in line with just how composite bow troops are in general.
Agree.
The warriors, they have full melee aggression. They shoot. So it's kind of just having like a unit of composite bow warriors, essentially. But they have resilience, half the hits. There's some additional nuance there. But this kind of makes them act, instead of a unique type unit, it kind of makes them act like a unit of composite bow horsemen almost, I would say. Monty, you think that's a good analogy
I agree.
there?
I mean, I know because I saw just a little bit of chatter about this in the Saga Thursday Discord. It's a big hit if you were leading with multiple light chariot units. I know
so
in a right. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah. So you might not use that same, AKA build anymore.
Right. Might change. To just, I mean, I'm sure they already know this, but I remember clearly in Tabletop Simulator in one of our digital tournaments, I played into an Indian build, and on turn 1, 2 big packs of light chariots moved up. Shot with moves, because that's the key: move, shoot. And when they were done, I think I'd lost 12 warriors, so that's like 25% of my warband.
Right.
And I mean, it's kind of hard to come back from like losing that many, even if they were weak in the prior version. But I agree, it brings them in line with like the rest of the universe. One small thing, I don't know if this is a mistake or on purpose. The keyword chariot is gone out of this paragraph. So do they mean to say that like the keyword chariot usually is like you can't go in any kind of terrain? Is the idea that, well, no, they're mounted. No, can they maybe go in terrain?
So maybe, because they're lighter, they can withstand.
Go through the shrubbery?
In or not. Yeah, you might have to cross-reference that with
a
little chapter
Not
there.
Sure.
But, okay. Yeah, interesting. So kind of puts them in line shooting-wise.
Right.
With some warbands. All right. Now, this one is definitely kind of a head-scratcher here. But, Monty, I have been nerfed personally. The Rodge on the elephant.
Yes.
Cannot benefit from any saga ability that is restricted to elephants.
Yeah.
And so he was absolute beast before.
He was a beast.
But now he's going to be less beastly. Still probably pretty tough here. But, I mean, some of that, I don't know. I believe it was elephant only. We'll have to look when we get to because I know some of those ability changes, but like the reinforced armor is elephants only.
Yes.
Or used to be, so we'll take a look and see. But some of these might cause I guess only 3 or 2 were specifically.
So
it's restricted to.
So Rodge, the word elephant only. Like when I look at great size, it says units of heavy chariots or elephants. Like to me, is that elephant only? I mean, it's not, right? Because it says heavy chariots. So I kind of thought they were just trying to block the Rodge from using reinforced armor, but I could be wrong.
Okay, well we'll check. We can check.
Yeah, no worries.
We're just kind of doing these.
Hot.
Chronologically.
In real time.
That's not the right word. Spatially, dimensionally, the order that they put them in.
Yes.
Which first up, I think there'll be some cheers across the board, Monty. Great sigh of relief across the galaxy. Unnumbered hordes.
Woo!
So that one could bring back a unit of 12 warriors.
Yeah, that hurt.
You know, they would not. They would count as dead for victory points, but you know, that was the least of the problems there. So I was capping out the units at 4 and 6 models respectively. So that's an interesting. You know, people thought about fixing the ability. I don't think anybody thought about that being a potential fix here.
Yeah.
So, do they count as dead? I don't think that they do.
They remove
this
that.
just adds.
Yeah,
this just
they
adds.
remove that. So I think you're good. They remove the sentence. So I think it's like that's a small buff, but then there's a hard cap.
Yeah. So kind of cool. You can see, you know, having a 1/1 warrior unit. Use this to take it up to 4. You know, generating Saga dice again. Nothing's not bad. Levy 2 is 1 levy left. Let's take it up to 6. You know, you think about scenarios and stuff. Scoring units, you know, have to generate a Saga die. So there's kind of some interesting plays here. Probably just playing a standard game. You know, 2 dice to resurrect 3 warriors or 5 levy. Maybe it might be worth it. Kind of depends what you have going on. Maybe you have a game turn where you're just going to hang back, shoot, not do much. Maybe that's the standard version game plan. I don't know. So I don't know, Monty. What do you think?
I think it's fine. I mean, I know the Persian players might disagree, but if you feel really bad about this ability, go take a look at the Matatawiya board and find Jaharim in the bottom right corner. For a die, the mutts get to roll, and they have to roll above the warrior or Hearthguard's armor to bring them back. So you get yours for free, like it's a certainty, and the mutts pay a die, and they takes their chances. So
yeah, it's just you would rather add 3 warriors to a 5-man warrior unit to get them up to 8 and start punching, or take a levy unit from 7 to 12. You know, 1 to 6. You really have to kind of think about what the game plan is. Ahura Mazda's Flame was modified. So a mounted unit or unit in combined formation had that stipulation before. So depending on the Median Persians or Achaemenids, you know, your use of this ability would be limited depending on the troops you have. So it just opens it up. But you gain 2 defense dice instead of 3 like before. But if you use a rare now, your unit gets a +1, but only if it's mounted. So this is on the units that could use it, it's going to be less useful, but a wider variety of units could use it. So like our friends the levies, Monty, can now use Ahura Mazda's Flame. They've opened up the religion to the levies now. Can you believe that? All right. Sagaris, where is this one? Attacker only.
Yes.
So used to be an attacker defense. Gain 2 attack dice or 4 if your unit does not have ranged weapons. That's the same. If you use a rare, you can reroll 1s and 2s on your attack dice. So that one is essentially the same. Except you have to be the attacker here.
That's it.
Pushing it away from just being a total static type faction. So both of those are just encouraging you, made them move a little bit. Shield bearers on foot. It's a lot of words here, buddy.
That's a lot of words.
So it used to be uncommon or rare, and you had to be in combined formation. Now it's a rare. You can be on foot. Roll as many dice as the unit generates when shooting. For each die, scoring equal to or higher than the enemy user. Discard attack dice. If at least 3 attack dice are discarded, they suffer fatigue. So it's kind of simulating the enemy's charging and you're shooting on the way in. You used to gain 3 defense dice if you used a rare. So
that's gone.
It's been tweaked. So you could use this on the levies now. Now I did record with Dan. This is the one, Monty. We have Persians in the tank. And now these changes have come in, so it's going to nullify some of the chat. I'm going to release it anyways. But I believe he one of the recurring things was one of those, the medians or the Achaemenid got Persian, or levy shooters. And that kind of, maybe favored the levy shooter. So all of these changes, I think, maybe favor the levy shooters a little bit more than the combined formation, because Ahura Mazda's flame and this one weren't able to be used by the levy before,
Right.
so they can use it. So kind of interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Monty, do you want to lead us into the Indian board changes?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. One of my boards got away from me.
No.
It's a rogue board. So
all right, he's on the move.
There we go. Now we're back.
Got it. He's mobile. He's got wheels.
What do we got? We got the earth trembles, and not just at dinner time. What do we? Oh no, my copy got cut off. Okay, shoot, dude. I need you to lead this one because the PDF didn't fit on my printer.
All right, earth trembles. So it used to be 2 dice, common and uncommon. Now it's just a uncommon.
There we go.
As a foot unit, it was a foot unit before. Activate it for a charge that generates no fatigue. So this is even better.
Okay, nice. So
elephant is a foot unit. This isn't restricted to elephants, so the Raja can still use that. Okay.
Nice.
Reinforced armor. Okay, this one's elephants or hearthguards here.
Okay. I see your point now, Raj.
Yeah, so
it's now clear. Yeah.
Okay. Now, uncommon or rare, same as before. After enemy attack dice this is completely different. After enemy attack dice are rolled, cancel automatically 2 hits. Okay, so that was similar. So that could be the same as before. Elephant's resilience 2. The Raja would have been a 3. It seems like you probably can't use this now with the Raja, depending on your interpretation there. If you use a rare, your unit gains resilience 1 or increases this resilience value by +1. I already had the special rule, so just equals to your casualty. So, almost just as good on an elephant as before.
Right.
It would increase the resilience, and the auto cancels were tied to resilience before, so slightly less effective, but now totally effective on the hearthguards. So that's cool. That's something I don't think I've ever seen. Well, the Indian Warlord is on the chariot or the elephant. Maybe, I don't know, could he be on foot? I've never seen hearthguards for Indians now. So now you got a reason to take them.
He can be on foot. He can be in a chariot. He can be on the elephant.
Okay. So this will give you, if you like him on foot, or you're going to swap it out for a particular scenario or something, and you got the hearthguards, you could pop in the reinforced armor on those juicy hearthguards.
So,
right.
Raj, I'm so sorry. I just have a question as I'm looking at this one, and maybe you can help me, because in real time, I'm just scratching my head. So we assume that when they made this specification about the Raj, like can't use elephant-only abilities, here's the elephant keyword. The elephant keyword is under great size. But when you go to that last sentence, it says if you use a rare, your unit gains resilience 1. And then it says, or increase its resilience by 1 if it already has the special rule. Oh, okay, there we go. So that doesn't go into the Raj, which specifically is like resilience 3. And there's nothing else that's resilience 2 or 3. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so a regular elephant can use it. The Rodge elephant cannot.
Got it. Okay, that all makes sense. It makes sense now. Thank you.
So, great size is restricted to heavy chariots or elephants. So that's the same as before. So the Rodge can't use that one. That one cancels shooting hits. And then they changed Dynasties of the Raja. It used to be units with resilience. Now it's units without ranged weapons or elephants. And so again, that one, so he's not quite the crazy beast he was before. So this one used to be units with resilience. So chariots, light chariots, elephants. After the melee is resolved, remove fatigue from a unit. 2 if you use a rare. This one is your unit does not take a fatigue at the end of the melee. Gain 2 defense dice if you use a rare. So that's similar. Sure, there's some nuance there about removing a fatigue or not gaining fatigue. This one, Dynasty of the Raja, you'd probably never end exhausted. So this one, you still could end exhausted if you take the 3 hits or whatever to cancel. So a little worse. Defense dice instead of a second fatigue remove. So, yeah, 1, 2, 3. So 1 boost, kind of 3 or 4 kind of dings down the ladder here. So, yeah, if you use the Rodge on the elephant to great success before, you're probably gonna have to change it, or
right.
Yeah, it might still be a good piece, but you're not gonna get the same results that you did before. It used to be able to get pretty wild, right, Monty?
Yeah. And
I've never played with it or against it, so I can't.
I've seen it once. It is brutal. With all these board abilities stacked, he just seemed impossible to take down, like the war elephants from Lord of the Rings. But also, like those war elephants, you'll get bonus victory points if you do bring the Rodge down.
Yeah, so I think probably overall it just encourages a little more variety in the war bands that Indians bring. I guess I've really only seen war bands that are focused on the light chariots. So those you probably want to tinker around with those. Those honestly, they still might be pretty successful. But
I think so.
Might
They're
not
really good.
be as overpowering as right. Successors, Monty.
Got it. Wait, do I have
What are we
it?
hoping for
Good
here?
grief, dude. I'm so sorry. My pile of boards. We're going to be talking about this in a future episode. How to sort and control boards. Mine
Okay.
tipped.
Yeah,
and fell
that
and
actually
all mixed
kind of
together.
we were going to touch on that in our prior
Yeah.
topic, so we're going to hit that next month. Some board organization. Okay. So this is going to be the last one that we're taking a look at here. So the rest of it was stuff from the prior kind of hot fact, I believe. Okay. So Strategos was I don't know what's going on there. It looks the same, Bonnie. Does that look the same to you? Or was it
It was a rare.
Previously fact? I think it was fact.
It was.
Before.
It was previously fact. I can tell because I have a big sticker over my spot. So yeah, that looks the same. I think that one's the same.
Yeah. What does your sticker say?
So it says exactly the same thing. Strategos cost same, orders reaction, roll 2 are available. Saga dice, place them immediately on your board.
Okay.
Wait, no, they're saying and add them to your inactive. Okay, what am I missing here? So
okay, there's two oh, okay. Yeah, so they accidentally reverted back to so this has to be a mistake. So the issue is during your opponent's turn, you do not have inactive Saga dice that are just waiting around to be placed on your board. So if this was an orders ability, this is like what activation pool says, Monty. Yes. So we have to go back to the prior one, which clarifies that you roll 2 dice and place them on your board.
Okay.
They don't just kind of wait to be used until your next turn. So unfortunately, a little snafu there reverting.
Okay.
Back.
That makes sense. Good save. I mean, by you. Thank you for catching that.
Okay, no worries. All right, we've got hegemony. Let's see here. Activate 2 units. At least one has to be a phalanx.
Okay.
Same as before. First, these activations don't generate a fatigue if you use a rare. That seems to be the same.
Yeah.
If you use or if you are the Divite, whatever power, you activate additional phalanx unit instead of an additional. So spin tweaks slightly. So you probably want a few more phalanxes with the warband versus if you're taking horsemen or an elephant or something or other.
Okay, and I mean, seriously, dude, credit. You're a little quicker at catching these than me in real time, and I now realize this is a big deal because I can't tell you how many times my Liverpool Saga friend would run successors, and then use that activate an additional unit to hammer me like with something other than phalanx unit.
Yeah, I mean, you
So,
could take like a whole bunch of Jav Cav,
right,
or you could take almost any
right.
kind of units, but especially cavalry, shooters, or or
Yep,
whatever. So
yep.
kind of
It
takes
could
everyone
be
down a
Jav, yeah,
notch.
Jav Cav Warrior. That's right. That would be key. Get that +1.
Okay, so Panto Dapoy. So this one, I think, is a good changes for the timing of it. So it used to be at the end of the turn, you'd pop it in the beginning, or it would take place at the end of the turn. But it usually what happened is, oh, hey, I meant to, 3/4 of the way through the turn, they're like, oh, hey, I meant to pop Panto Deploy. Do you mind if I go back? And then you let on, they're beating the tar out of you. This might be your one chance. If you say no, they made a legitimate mistake. What do you do? But
what do you do?
So they changed it. So used to be remove fatigue from a bubble around the warlord.
Yeah.
And if you're Divite, you could remove 2 fatigues. I mean, that's pretty wild.
It is wild. 100%.
So now it is brought into the realm, the earthly realm, Monty, the material realm of Saga abilities.
Right.
So just during your artist phase, remove a fatigue from every other unit within very short of your warlord. So I like it. Pops it then. If they forget, 3/4 of the way through the turn, you can't go back. The sequence, you would have had to remove the fatigues back then. If you're the Divite, then it increases the bubble to short. And it doesn't do anything extra on the rare, which is interesting.
Nice.
So I'm fine with that. They don't.
Yeah, same.
They don't. I don't. I don't like that aspect to this board. I don't think it needed it with everything else going on. So
agree.
That's fine with me. One more. Oh, okay.
One more.
Yes, this one is actually on the Macedonian board.
Yep.
So I lied before. Intensive training.
This is a good change.
Yeah, this one used to increase the range of the Sarissas from S to medium, and you gain 2 bonus. And this one, you just gain the two bonus.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's fair. That's pretty. Good. It's pretty tough to get stuff with an S, and it was kind of fair. The medium, you're in Javelin, you can get everybody with the medium. So definitely a little dink against the intensive training. The training, Monty, since Philip's death has gone down a little bit. Alexander hasn't been keeping up with him. So
he's busy charging rather than poking his enemies to death, which is what I think it kind of takes away what could be a very productive but static and difficult play style for your opponent. You could be Macedonians, and I remember playing a game where I don't think there were any charges for most of the turns. I was just slowly being poked to death with all the defensive buffs.
Yeah, they were really
charge.
They were really that kind of made the difference,
Yeah.
In a standoff type situation. So, kind of changes the dynamic a little bit there. Everything else remains in place, and then that looks to be it as far as new stuff.
That's it.
So, yeah, that was
not too bad.
Surprise. Yeah. What do you think overall, Monty?
I think it's fine. I mean, okay, it's easy for me to say, but I really do think it's fine. There are times where you open up an FAQ and your warband has really gotten the hammer, and I know that in the moment, the people who play successors or Indians or Macedonians, well, I doubt Macedonians, but let's say successors and Indians,
the Divite successors,
it might feel like there's really been a hammer, but these were really, really good warbands. And the proof was in the pudding that when you come to an event, when you start finding like mono builds, like too many people taking successors or whatever it is, like that's kind of like the proof in the pudding. So things that kind of help pull the universe back into alignment, maybe nudge you out of your comfort zone to take a look at that board. And I don't know. I think there's a lot of juice in the tank for both those boards, so I think they'll be okay. And I will go play some games and see if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, so I think I don't know.
What?
I
You
don't know.
don't
I
know?
don't know what I think, man.
You're
I
required
think
to
he
give an
said it.
opinion, Raj.
Yeah, I think he laid it out pretty good here. Um, I think if it encourages variety of troop types and
That's
not
good.
just kind of building them just one way, I think that's good. So I think you can make the case that some of these are addressing one specific way of doing
Yes.
things and encouraging you to do it a different way.
Yep.
Um, of course, if Monty was in charge of the FAQ and did everything, his FAQ would look different than my FAQ. I guess I would have
True.
liked to have seen some more attention to the successors. I think they are kind of an outlier, in my opinion, and could be looked at a little further. But yeah, I'm not going to complain about what we've seen so far there. Who's the name of that little fella behind you there? That
Yoshi.
little cutie.
I
Yoshi?
normally lock her out of here, but there's no one home, so she'll scratch at the door. So
Okay.
there's her guest
Okay.
appearance. We'll get
Yeah,
to
well, she came in
yeah,
just in time.
perfect
So,
timing.
yeah, let us know. Post below if you play these armies. Yeah, I would say on the whole, it seems more kind of bringing things down in line versus boosting things
Agree.
up. So I think it's good. You kind of want to approach both, boost some things, take some things down, try to hit a baseline versus.
Agree.
I mean, if you're trying to hit everything up to the highest level, it's gonna get pretty wild.
Right. That's fair.
Saga. So, okay, cool.
I really want to play Republic Romans. I am super excited. I mean, maybe overly excited about that, but I think that could be pretty juicy.
Yeah, I think it's got some life there, so it's pretty cool.
And then you could play the successors into my Romans and then just say, how do you like them apples?
Yeah, you know what? The Romans against those Sarissa factions are way better with the Scuda up.
That's right.
Because you can move up. It's kind of like double damage. You fight and then they poke you. So now you're gonna just shunt off the vast majority of those pokes.
Yeah.
So the Romans have a better chance of cracking those nuts there. I like it. Tasty.
I do.
All right. Well, I do want to thank everybody, especially Sean, Patrick, Mitchell, Scott, Britt, DJ, Robin, Damien, and Callandin, and the rest of the Saga Thursday patrons. Wouldn't be doing a video every month, or you and me have been doing one every month, but I've been doing one every week, Monty.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's definitely been a blur this first half of the year, but we're looking pretty good for the second half of the year. And Monty, I do want to thank you, buddy, for sticking it out. And we're going to see you next month as well. But if folks missed the last one, Monty is kind of wrapping up his time at Saga Thursday here. So he's going to record the July episode with us. We're going to take a break. He's going to take a break, and then he'll come back in December for one final episode. In the meantime, I am potentially looking for a monthly replacement type person. So I've had a few nibbles so far, Monty, and everybody knows you're filling some pretty big shoes there, or they would have to in your spot. So it seems I've got a few nibbles, but it seems like it might be a quarterly type thing. So I'll see the same person once every 3 months or something like that. Maybe not every single month. So maybe with that in mind, I'm looking for just a few more people to kind of step up maybe and see who's a good fit. So if you're interested in talking about Saga on a regular basis, every other month or every 3 months with me, and these kind of more timely ones. So this was a timely one, Monty. It wasn't recorded way in advance.
No.
This literally came out this morning, and we recorded it. And Still got to wait till Thursday to get posted, but we recorded it right away. And yeah, so looking for a couple takers there. But anyways, get on the Saga Thursday Discord. It is hopping. It is happening. We'll have the facts posted there as well. And coming up here, like I said, I will get that Persian faction review posted. It was recorded previously. I would say most of that still holds true, or you can kind of just think about what we're saying and how it would relate to the new changes there. But I got a couple other things in the tank. I got another Age of Chivalry faction review in the tank as well, so maybe we'll see both of those this month. But that is going to be it. Monty, any closing thoughts here, buddy?
I was just gonna say they're going to. There will be a tabletop simulator Saga tournament fired up very soon. So if you're not in the Saga Thursday Discord, get in the Saga Thursday Discord. If you haven't played a tabletop simulator game, you should give it a spin. We've got pinned resources. People will help you. And it's just fun. It's very light. And they're going to mix Age of Chivalry with Age of Crusades. And I'm going to say this again, would it shock you if I told you that in that event?
God, not the mutts. Come
on, Marty. The mutts, so I'm going to bring the mutts. We're going to go see what we could do.
Okay, cool. Well, that'll be fun. Yeah. So that's in the Discord. There's like a tabletop simulator section down there. So just get down there and take a look around, and you should be able to figure it out. But that is going to be it for this one. Monty, hope the rest of June goes well for you, buddy.
You too.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Saga! If you'd like to see more Saga content, consider joining the Heathen Army over on Patreon or popping on down to the Saga Thursday Discord server. Links below. Thanks, guys.